Hey, what if I told y'all the entire strategy for the Washington Commanders 2026 season, just got revealed low key? Not in one quote, not in one headline, not in platitudes, not in one flashy answer, but scattered throughout both press conferences and the media scrum. You got Adam Peters, calm, calculated, Bruce Wayne like tone. You got DQ, fiery, competitive edge. If you connect the dots, if you listen to the words, if you compare it to last year, you factor in 5 and 12, if you factor in JD missing 10 games, a roadmap starts to appear. And today we not only deciphering it, decoding it, breaking it down, reacting, we doing it all. Because the tone in the room has changed. The priorities are shifting. And the front office is telling us exactly who they are, what they want to be, and how they trying to get there. So let's dive right in. So welcome back to Gerard BTV. Hey, I'm Gerard, coming at you from the A. I live out the A, but by way of DMV, don't get it twisted, man. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We don't do surface level takes here. We break down philosophy, identity, strategy. But today, we combine the AP's pressers, DQ's pressers, and we answering one question. What does it all mean for 2026? Because this wasn't just coach speak. This wasn't GM talk. This is messaging, coordinated messaging. And if we've known it, one thing about DQ and AP, they are on one page. And after a brutal 5 and 12 season, 8-game slid, you know the rest. This feels like a reset, a real one. So let's start out with the theme they both was hammering home. The words were clear: younger, faster, explosive. AP said youth and speed matter. That's music to our ears. I know y'all know that, right? He said ultimately ties that go to athletic traits, because, think about that. You want the athletic traitsy athlete type football player on your squad. He also said he not dumping vets blindly, but the tiebreaker for a roster position, it's going to go to straight up upside. So hopefully that means the younger, fast, explosive players, as long as they showing that they can retain that playbook and can implement implement the things on the field that they're getting coached to do, we might see a younger cast of players out there. Okay, DQ echoed that though, right? Young, fast, exciting, explosive. He was salivating, especially at pass rush. Okay, and this is not an accidental repetition of traits that they're looking for. It's philosophical in nature, because in 2025 we were not that. We were old in key spots. We were slow at linebacker. We was laid off the edge, no first step type deal. Bottom tier in sacks and bottom tier against the run. And DQ, he admitted that, man. He owned up to the fact that we was trash last year. I mean, what else could he do? But that man has been owning up to all the faults of the squad from last year. He's been putting it on his back, right? CEO type coach type situation, which is what he is. And he said they learned from last season. He mentioned how the veterans, they weren't staying healthy, even though he was giving them vet rest days. The defense was getting gassed. They was looking gassed on TV, and they was playing gassed on the field. Okay, so that's not a subtle shot, man. That's accountability. And here's the deeper layer. When both the GM and the head coach emphasized youth and speed at the press conference today, that's not no bull. That's them telegraphing exactly what their offseason intent is. Okay. Since we at the combine, let's talk about it. At number 7 overall, that screams that they looking at these edge rushers potentially. David Bailey, a Arvell Reese, a Ruben Bain Jr., who wouldn't be, right? Take your pick. They long, twitchy, explosive first-step guys. But you also thinking about the fact that they might be looking to surround JD with some offensive players. So they just really trying to make sure that they cover all their bases, man. So I'm talking about free agency. These same traits that they're referring to, the explosive, the long athletes, the fast, exciting players, they're talking about that for free agency as well. Okay, because this is important though. Because DQ, he mentioned versatility. He said that maybe two or three times. And one time he was talking about how he likes to have a big ends who can move inside. Remember, he was talking about how the ends gonna move inside, similar like how your man Dorance Armstrong was doing last year. Right, but this also screams the multiple fronts that we gonna run with Daronte Jones. The fact that yes, it's not just about getting a pass rusher, but it's about building a flexible front that can morph. You know, and that's really what you're looking for from the defense. That's going to be pressure driven, aggressive. This is the modern day NFL survival here we talking about, and with roughly 80 million in cap space, depending on who you ask, you definitely supplementing with young free agents. You can't get explosive, long, twitchy, exciting athletes with only 6 picks in the draft. You got to supplement that with young free agents. Because in the draft, yes, we are going to get the speed and the speed injection, and that's going to be amazing. Because what are we talking about? We talking about a blue chip edge rusher? Are we talking about a blue chip wide receiver? Are we talking about a blue chip running back, a blue chip linebacker, blue chip safety? What blue we getting, or we trading back? Hey, put it in the comment section what you think AP going to do based off of how they moved at the press conference today, because I'm curious on how that man gonna move come draft time. Now let's zoom out a little bit, because DQ used a phrase he's used often, but it's a phrase I do love, and it's winning in the margins. Now that's very important. It's very important because that's not just coach speak or coach poetry. It's about discipline, situational football, y'all. Okay, and we know how that complementary football plays a part in that. You got the red zone execution, 3rd and 1 dominance on both sides of the ball, and not beating yourself. Too many times in 2025, we did the opposite of those things. Drives died because of penalties, missed assignments, breakdowns on offense and defense, and sometimes special teams. Now, DQ is not promising 13 wins, y'all. He's promising attention to detail. And that connect directly to our quarterback, Jayden Daniels. And let me say this off the bat. Don't mess with Mama 5, bro. Do not mess with Mama 5. She is not to be played with, bro. All right? You know, that's all I'm gonna say, bro. If you don't know, you don't know. Go find out what I'm talking about. But everything orbits around our quarterback, as it should. Adam Peters made that clear. All decisions happen with Jayden Daniels in mind. DQ, he said we got to protect that man better. Jayden, obviously he missed those games. Knee, hamstring, elbow. You know, we can't survive that twice. We cannot put that man through that. So what's the plan? Reinforce your offensive line trenches, something that you've seen that we're doing. We already re-signed Andrew Wiley. Okay, we're probably going to get some other backup depth type players that's going to come in here as well. We also going to re-sign a few of our own backup depth type players. I'm not thinking Chris Paul, though. I think Chris Paul is a little too pricey for our steez. All right. Number 2, a balanced offense under David Blau. So we talking about the running game being able to complement the passing game and for it to look the same. I know y'all seen all the reports. Y'all heard the different content creators talk about this stuff. And that's the truth. That right there is going to be one of the saving graces for our offense, for our team in general. Because a balanced offense, that's clock management, that's keeping the defense fresh, that's keeping the rotation of defensive players, rotation of offensive players fresh. The longer you're on the field, the longer they're not on the field. You know what I'm saying? So you know how that works out. Fewer hero ball scrambles. So he ain't got to be Superman all the time, put his cape on. He going to still scramble, but he ain't going to have to all the time, man. He ain't going to have to lead the team in rushing and rushing attempts. You know what I'm saying? The play action game is going to be massive. Again, that ties down to having a athletic offensive line as well as good running backs and tight ends. There's one that's going to be able to carry out the fake with JD, who's going to have to show the ball handling skills. The running back being able to sail the fake, and then tight ends being able to get up that seam and get busy. Hey, Ben Sinnott, that might be you, my boy. That might be you. That might be you, because we definitely wanted to hear AP talk about Ben Sinnott today. He was not asked. Dang. Hey, my man Deuce had a great question on Twitter. He wanted one of the reporters to ask regarding Ben Sinnott, you know, and the Cal Juszczyk comparison he had made when he drafted him. And I thought that would have been real pertinent. Maybe one day I didn't get my own credentials, and I can ask the man that question. But again, back to what the offense is talking about. Under the center looks. So keeping that man under the center, making things look a little bit different. Well, really, it's going to look the same to the defense, but it's going to be different because it's going to be disguises and everything of that nature. So we really are making you fearful of what Jayden Daniels truly can be. And this is also going to push that man to continue to grow, to continue to show that he is that one, okay? Because continuity matters. Chemistry does matter, and that's why David Blau got the promotion he got, okay? DQ also went on to praise Laramie Tunsil openly. Obviously, he knows that extension is priority number one because AP also mentioned that. He said they're already talking and things of that nature. That's cool. Get it done. It's February 24th. Get it done. Get it done, son. Like, man, free agency shouldn't even start without that man signed. I get it. You know, he already said he's under contract for next year. I'm like, all right, you starting with that shit already, bro. All right? Let's not play with that man, Tunsil. He don't look like he about that game. Okay? Now, let's talk about weapons real quick because we love talking about our weapons because we don't have any besides our lifetime wide receiver one, Terry McLaurin. All right? That's cemented, okay? Wide receiver two, question mark. You know, we had Debo last year. He had over 700 yards receiving, 5 tugs. Do you bring him back based on the cost? It matters. It just depends on the cost. He even mentioned Brandon. Now he was asking, Adam P was asking about Brandon Ayuk today. He said, now, guys, I can't touch on that. I can't touch on that. That man's under contract somewhere else. But the man, I like the guy. So there you go. He's not going to tell you one way or another if he's going to add that man to the team. Now, would he? Potentially, because it'd be a cheap ad, brother. It'd be a cheap ad. But at the combine, you got receivers like Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon. Could those be our picks at 7? But with a potential slight trade back to get, Mekhi Lemon or something like that? Maybe you just take him at 7 if we have a great free agency. I'm just saying, man. Then you got possibilities in day 2 with tight end. Because I know y'all seen the post of Zach Ertz working out, getting back in shape, getting his leg back in order. Because man, that was a gruesome injury. Right? We got Bates, elite blocker. Senate, man, what is he? Kyle Juszczyk or not? All right. Room is incomplete, brother. It's incomplete. And our priority is adding pass catches. So at tight end, you could pull up sometime in day 2. Now, granted, we don't have a lot of ammo, so it sounds like more of a free agency type situation. Regardless, young, athletic, explosive. That's what they're looking for. And you know what that means about getting JD some help? That tight end is his best friend. So that's the real blueprint. Getting him the weapons he needs and getting him the toys to be able to play with. You feel me? Because we need fits for the system as well as star power. Now, JD can be the only star on the offense, quote unquote, right? But we still need players that they got a game plan for. Okay, you got a game plan for some of these other players. Right? We need reliable route runners. We need running backs that's going to be smart in protection and being able to be multifaceted. We need high football IQ football players. Okay, and that's how you protect the franchise QB is by surrounding him with players that's going to elevate him. Because he's going to elevate you. Are you going to elevate him? So if you're enjoying this deep dive, man, hit subscribe. Drop in the comments. What's the most important addition around JD? Are we talking about wide receiver 2? Are we talking a tight end? Or are we talking about the edge, defensive edge? Are we talking about a safety? Or are we talking about a running back like a Jeremiah Love? What is the most important addition for JD? I'm going to go through them again. Running back, wide receiver, tight end, edge, or linebacker. Let me know. All right, so let's move on to the defensive aggression and how they were talking about DJ, Daronte Jones. The first time full defensive play caller. All right? DQ defended that man hard. He said experience comes from actually doing the job. That's confidence in that man. He described the scheme as going to be aggressive, Flores inspired, and multiple. We've heard that many times, but the fact that he endorsed that man's play calling to that degree, man, that lets me know we are all on board. We all ships ahead. We sailing in the same direction, my dude. Listen. And then when it comes to the scheme, the blitz, the pressure, the disruption, The way that Dan Quinn kind of was talking, it sounds like, man, Daronte was getting that man going. He was getting him going in the interview. All right, when they working together, sound like that man is excited for what Daronte got up his sleeves for the guys. Because last year we was soft and we was reactive. Now we gonna be the ones that dictate, and that's the most important part. We gonna have to have faster linebackers, linemen that's gonna penetrate and be able to hold against double teams, violent pursuit from all 11 on the field. All right, we do not want containment. We want straight up chaos, bro. Straight up chaos. And that aligns with certain draft prospects that we can fall at number 7. I'm looking at you, Arvell Reese. Something like a hybrid speed defender here, positionless player. His name's starting to ring bells over here in Commander Land. Okay, I've seen him go as high as 2, and I've seen him go as low as 9. 10. You know what I mean? I got him. If he there on the board, take him. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care who we take at 7 as long as we get a blue chipper, bro. Okay, I'm excited about what we gonna get at 7. But when we talk about Arvell Reese, positionless player, that's what we looking like. Somebody that won't come off the field during multiple fronts. That's very important. He can put his hand in the dirt as well as stand up, as well as play coverage. Come on, man. Triple threat, bro. Triple threat. And also, if your defense improves, you're protecting Jayden Daniels. It's not going to be about chasing 14, 21-point deficits like we were doing a lot last season. It's going to be about dictating. Now, real quick, y'all know how we get down on this channel, so let's talk about what wasn't said. Because you know AP, when he up there, he a cold-blooded strategist, my bad. Strategist, okay? Right? He mentioned from learning from his own mistakes. Right? Supply and demand in free agency, not operating on hypotheticals. That is important. Learning from his own mistakes. What has he done the last 2 years? 1-year deals. Old man. Injury. All right? Lack of production. Supply and demand for agency, actually calling your shot, winning the deal, getting the deal that you need to get the deal done. All right? Closing on these free agents that you're trying to get, not losing out on them. Okay? But this is a value-driven approach because what he means is that he's only going to pull veterans back if this is only for the right price. Okay, so you guys that's 30 and over, only for the right price. So Debo, only for the right price, my boy. Extensions, they're going to happen earlier. Hopefully that means Laramie Tunsil is going to happen earlier. Way earlier than the start of training camp. Way early, because you know he's not pulling up to minicamp. To OTAs. You know what I'm saying? So just let's get this joint done now. So his IG post is more commander positive centric and not pay me or not. You know what I'm saying? And again, we ain't gonna have no emotional overpays in that situation as well. Okay. And then when we talk about the draft, he did say best player available, which is awesome. But you know what that means. The trade down is alive, bro. The trade down possibility is alive because the man gonna want more picks, more depth, a better chance of having an injection of youth on the roster. Building the middle of the roster out because we don't have a middle of the roster. We got starters, some starters, and we got like practice squad players. And depth, that's how you win. Depth is how you win in this league, man. And some of them lessons he was talking about as far as like health leadership and better camp management, how the injury bug was really biting us in 2025. He said, you don't blame luck, you adjust. Okay, you adjust. That's evolution, man. That's evolution in our general manager and our head coach. Remember, AP a first-time general manager. Now we got a first-time offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. And it's the first time Dan Quinn about to be just a CEO. There's a lot of firsts going on that we didn't think about when this offseason started. So what is the blueprint? Let me give you the overarching conclusion on what it meant for these press conferences today. We're going to get younger. We're going to get faster. We're going to be more explosive. We're going to be way more versatile. We're going to protect JD on offense and defense. We're going to have an aggressive defense. We're going to have disciplined cap management because he did not mention cutting Marshawn Lattimore. That is something we did not talk about, but we got a whole nother video talking about that because, man, that's interesting. Draft flexibility and winning in the damn margins, all right? It's not random, bro. It's a coordinated identity building because this is not about panicking. This is not about, like I said, pressing the panic button and things like that. The man, I'm glad I didn't use the word, but that recalibration situation that they was using last year, this is kind of what we doing because recalibration is really like retooling what we got going on. So, what's my prediction? What's your prediction? I want to hear about your prediction because my prediction don't matter. All right. What we taking at number 7 or are we trading down? All right. How soon is not soon enough for the Laramie Tunsil extension? I'm feeling like, again, it's February 24th. The draft is at the end of April. I want to have it done before the draft, bro. Playoff contention, if healthy, for sure. I'm 100% on board with that. What say you? The NFC not slowing down, though, as you've seen. We can't either, bro. All right? So, when you looked at this press conference, what stood out to you? Was it DQ's energy? Was it the nothing burger from Adam Peters? Was it what wasn't said? Right? Was it the emphasis on you? Was it direction of the draft? I want to hear from y'all, man. Drop it below in the comment section. Like, subscribe. Y'all already know how we get down on Gerard BTV, baby, because this offseason, it's getting real now, baby. It's getting real. Combine week is it. Let's get it. We out of here.